Welcome to Global Connections on Think Tech Hawaii. I'm your host, Jay Fidell. This episode is called Review of the Blockbuster Indian movie Dhurandhar. What does it tell us about Pakistan and about Bollywood? Our co-host for the show is Roopmati Khandekar. Welcome to the show, Roopmati.
Aloha, Jay. Thank you for having me here, and so nice to see you.
This is a remarkable and hugely popular Indian movie and epic, unlike any Indian movie you've ever seen before. It is based on real and historical events and absolutely worth seeing. So, Roopmati, can you give us a synopsis of the plot and the takeaway of this movie and how it is doing in India?
Yeah, Jay. So this is a blockbuster in India, and it's a very realistic movie. It starts with the opening scene of the IC-814, which was the actual hijacking of the plane in Kandahar, Afghanistan. And the exchange offer was hostage was with Masood, who later went on to form the Lashkar-e-Taiba, who went on to then make the parliament attack. The terrorists entered the Parliament House directly, Jay, and there was a firing and all going on. And then the eventual Mumbai 2006 attack. So this is like a sequence of events which happens, and the intelligence bureau chief, which now is the national security advisor, a story, a reference to him is made in the movie. There's espionage angle to it, and Jay, it shows that the most important part is the demonetization process in India. When once in 2016, one night, after 2 years into office, Narendra Modi comes into onto television and addresses the people and announces that from that moment on, 500 and 2,000 rupee notes ceased to be legal tender money. So nobody had any exchange route. All the money which was in corruption routes, the counterfeit notes, everything dissolved within moments. And he received a lot of flack for this. The demonetization process was used to heckle him or taunt him about his inefficiency in causing inconvenience to the people. And this movie brings out exactly why that had happened. There's a DeLa Rue controversy that has gone on, that the printing plates of the Indian currency were sold by the then finance minister and his son to the ISI or the intelligence agencies of Pakistan or to the money holding agencies of Pakistan. And they, because of the company, British company that was manufacturing it, they supplied the paper to Pakistan also. So this paper, Jay, with which and the printing plates, they could make counterfeit money, which was undetectable by even ATM machines. No problem, it was okay up to this point that they were piggyback riding on the Indian economy. But this money, this counterfeit money, was used to fund terrorism, Jay. It was used to buy weapons. It was used to fund mercenaries for suicide missions. It was used to fund terrorist activity in any part of the world. It was used for hawala transactions, that is, the money trails which bypass the banking systems um, through this counterfeit money. So they used to just pour this money out into, and this movie actually showed all this happening. They have showed the underworld, Pakistan uh, dons or mafia, which had a direct influence on these suicide bombers, which were being sent all over the world.
Oh, what a movie. 3 hours, make that 3.5 hours long, a huge cast, lots of espionage, violence, and vengeance, such as the American audience seems to like, and very, very popular in India. Millions of people have seen it in India. And although it's banned in Pakistan and in the Gulf states, 2 million bootleg downloads have happened. And so, it's it's popular there too. It's popular everywhere, but it's only in Hindi. And I think the interesting thing is it's coming to Netflix on January 30th, which is only a couple of weeks away. And undoubtedly there will be English subtitles. So I looked at some of it, but I couldn't understand the Hindi. I'm working on that. When it has the English subtitles, I'll be better. What exactly does this tell us about the changes in Indian filmmaking? It's not a Bollywood movie at all. It's a kind of almost a documentary, a semi-documentary. What does this mean about the popularity of Bollywood movies and about the emerging new documentary genre that is present, that is happening in this particular movie?
Say up to this point, approximately up to this point, there was a slump in Bollywood. People were not going into the theaters to watch the movies. Nobody wanted to spend that kind of money on entertainment and refreshments, beverages, just to watch a movie when you can download it on your even on your mobile device or on watch it on a pirated website. But this movie lured the audience into the theater just by word of mouth, Jay. People went and told each other what a movie it is. It is shown everything, and the reality that you see on in this movie, it was what has happened in routine Indian life, or for that matter, even Pakistani lives. It actually told the backstory of what the events that have been happening in the Asian story. So that's what attracted the audiences into the theaters, and the hysteria that you see, or the music that there is. It is a thorough entertainment movie with the action, the music, and you have real life events, and the documentary style that you speak of. He's used real footage. He's used the real audio recordings of the Mumbai attacks. So that was very hard hitting. Jay, he's just shown a red screen, and he's shown the audio of the militants talking to their handlers in Pakistan. And when the 2611, this was a reference to when Article 370 was removed in Kashmir. All the liberals or pseudo liberals had put a red dot in their Twitter profiles, showing that it was a red signal, or they didn't like it. They wanted to stop the Article 370 from getting withdrawn, which made Jammu and Kashmir a union territory, remove the statehood, and the militant status. There was no terrorism, just collapsed there. So this Aditya Dhar put this red screen on the television, on the screen. When you hear the audio, it's more hard hitting. You actually feel the terrorist attack being as it happened. Jay, it was literally 26/11 in Bombay. The forces were not allowed to do anything. They were waiting for the attackers to move and make them move.
But what about the Indian audience? How popular is the movie, and why is it popular? Is it popular because of the violence and vengeance? Is it popular because of the documentary nature of the film? Is it popular? Why is it popular, and how popular is it? And what have the reviewers in India said about it?
JC, there is no what usually used to sell in Pakistan India movies is to show that there is brotherhood after all the mishmash and of the movie, or they used to come to dialogue, or they used to come to talking terms, or there used to be on the extreme end there would be Pakistan bashing, in which you would have India thrash out Pakistan. But this is a different kind of genre. You're seeing the actual events which are happening in Pakistan, and how it used to affect the world as a whole. Because at the end of the movie, when you see it, he says that any act of terrorism that happens anywhere in the world is funded through Pakistan. Pakistan is the epicenter of terrorism. So in this movie, not only you had the background score being so lively, or you had the real life documentary style, you also had real life events being shown on your screen. So that was which was making the audience, gripping the audience into the theater. 3.5 hours, Jay.
Oh yeah. So have you seen it?
3 times, Jay. 3 times.
Why 3 times? I mean, did you not get the plot? Did you not get it the first and second time? Why go the second and third time?
Jay, first time when you're going, you're like, I think I'm liking the movie. Second time, you go in for the thrill of the movie to feel the environment. Third time, you go for the sheer pleasure of it because what a movie is made, Jay. So it's like a sequence of events thrown into your, your platter, and you love it. You love a Bollywood movie because it takes you away from reality, and this was a different change because it splash reality onto the Indian screens. Jay.
What comparison can you make between this and American movies? There are many, many violence and vengeance movies, action movies, they call them, that are on YouTube. What makes this different? And is this a movie based on the production values of American movies, or does it have its own style?
This movie was made by Aditya Dhar. He written, produced, and directed by him, and they had a set which was constructed in Thailand, and it was over the duration of 2 years that this movie took place, and they had the whole setup of this Liari town that they shoot in and about in Pakistan, made in Thailand. So the actors were at his disposal. You have a kind of, they don't need to go home. They're there on the set, and you can re-record. So the production value that they had was very high to construct an entire city over there, which is exactly like what Liari is. And it prompted the BBC to do a documentary on the Liari town of Pakistan. So, and the houses that he is shown in the movie, he used Amritsar, a place in Punjab, to show the kind of similarity because it's just cross border. So he has used authentic background settings for every scene in the movie. And it's a movie
So,
set in Pakistan.
what about the cast? There's this guy Singh who seems to occupy the role of the hero in the movie, I guess. But there are many many cast members of the cast, huge cast, and it seems like every star in India is involved in this movie. What is it going to do for them? How does this fit in their careers?
Jay, if you see Ranveer Singh's previous movies, they are crazy over the top Bollywood movies. He is very loud in them. He's very colorful in them. And in this movie, you see a subdued kind of a Ranveer Singh. He is playing a spy. And the kind of character that he stays in the background and still he's the protagonist is the kind of controlled acting that he's done. And it's a real, it's a change for the Indian audience to see him because you have been seeing him in such a loud role, and the versatility that he's shown through this movie is different. Then you have Akshay Khanna, who's the son of a previous superstar, Vinod Khanna. So, every audience could relate to him too. And then you have Sanjay Dutt, who's another superstar. So you had superstars playing character roles, or you had supporting roles. None of them were the real protagonist of the movie. So this kind of character feel to it, like you could see them, they're huge stars, but they're in the background. So that was what was thrilling in this movie.
What about romance? Is there is there a woman or women in this movie? Are there romantic interludes in this movie?
Yeah, sure, Jay. Because the mafia, the don, like after one of the grieving scenes, when his wife slaps him, he doesn't slap her back, and he's like the murderer of 19 things. So there's a soft side shown to him. Then there is a romance involved with the politician's daughter in it. So there are lovely songs in it. And which Bollywood movie does not have a hero and heroine song sequence? So all that is there, but just as relief moments. There's nothing that, in Bollywood movies, a scene is going on and suddenly you go to Switzerland with a cascade of dancers behind you. That doesn't happen in this movie. It goes with the flow of the story.
I've noticed that movies around the world, especially movies that I see, they don't tell you everything. They make you figure it out. They jump from plot element to plot element, and you have to stay alert to see what's happening, to figure out how it's moving. Is that the same thing happening here? Is this part of the process of this particular film?
No, Jay, that is exactly what is stunning about this movie, that it plays the sequence to the T. It does not drift. It does not make you. Every scene is related to the other. The first scene, when you see the last scene, you realize what was the first scene about. So there is no drifting. It's a sequential movie that is made. Every scene follows the other, and he's done it in Shakespeare style. Jay.
Well, there are 8 scenes. Are they logically connected? What's the process? What's the evolution of the 8 scenes?
Yeah, Jay. So it's like Act One, which you see him entering Liari, and then the mafia, the gruesomeness of the mafia, the wrath of the mafia that's shown, and it moves as it goes, and in the end you have a chapter known as Ethio Brutus, and in Ethio Brutus, when one of them is killed, the killer actually sees the ghost of who he is killed. It was like how Brutus had seen the ghost of Julius Caesar. It's a theatrical depiction of how the spy moves in this movie. So it's just lovely, Jay.
Well, now I guess the popularity has led to the notion of a sequel, and there's supposed to be Dhurandhar sequel number 1, Dhurandhar 2, which is the first sequel. And I think that's already in process. They're already making it. Do you have any ideas about what that'll cover? And do you know why there is a sequel coming up? Do you know whether the original movie deserves a sequel? What?
Netflix viewers are very, very privileged to wait just for a month or so for the sequel, because those people who have seen it as soon as it released, at the end of the movie, when they show you that what is coming up in the sequel, it's coming in March, on March 19th, and you could not wait for few moments or to start the sequel. You felt after 3.5 hours it should continue, but now Netflix will just have to wait 1 month. So,
and furthermore, what interests me is that the movie itself is being released on Netflix on January 30th, but it's not going into the theaters until sometime in March. That seem logical, because usually it's the other way around. In other words, you go in the theaters first, then you go in Netflix second. Do you know why? Do you know whether that works? Do you know how does that change things in the release of these movies?
Jay, this movie crossed around 1,000 crores in Indian rupees and became the second highest grosser of all time within 3 weeks. So they did not need to tap overseas markets as much as they would have needed to. And there's an interesting thing in this, that the Gulf countries banned it, but still it has crossed this amount, because see, in the movie they have shown that the plates are exchanged in the Gulf area. The hawala transactions or the underhand dealings used to take place through Gulf channels, money trails, and so these Gulf countries banned the Indian movie. And Jay, when you talk about overseas markets, you need the overseas what do you say, earnings for any film to do well. But this film surpassed all expectations, because it was not a big production house. It's a single man who's made it. That's what was interesting about it.
This teaches us about some geopolitics, right? We learned from this movie about the relationship of India and Pakistan, and you and I have talked about that a number of times. What does it teach us about the relationship between India and Pakistan? It sounds like, and I haven't seen the movie yet, but it sounds like Pakistan is always doing terror attacks on India, and India is trying to stop those attacks and doing payback against Pakistan and the people in Pakistan who are attacking India. But what does it teach us? What does this movie teach us about this interesting and strange and adversarial relationship between the two countries?
In 1947, when India and Pakistan were partitioned, land was given to Pakistan to form your own place, your own Muslim majority nation, and let this secular part of India be as it is. So there is no issue of land annexation or anything of that sort. Nobody wants that part of Pakistan to be integrated into India. It's a land given to Pakistan. Now, even after being given the land, they want to meddle into Indian politics, economics, and everything else, just because they are parasite state that lives on to India. Because when this counterfeit money was going on, it has been going on for years, and that was what was fueling the Pakistan economy. Uh, a couple of years back, see, this demonetization happened in 2016. A couple of years back, we are seeing them fighting for a loaf of bread or something like that much poverty because their underhand economic collapsed. They have a second tier of economics that take place, which is funded by the underworld, the drug lords, the mafia, all these, the weapons, the ammunition, all this is the second tier which funds it. Army, as we have discussed in our program, Jay, is one not just for security, it is one of the biggest commercial enterprises of Pakistan. And no prime minister has lasted his full term. So politics really has a backseat over there. It's the underworld, it's the army, it's the intelligence agencies which run Pakistan like their own little den. And that den finances terror activities all over the world. So it's not just, they're not geographically limited just to India. They fund uh, every part of the world where they're terrorists. It's funded. The funding can be traced into Pakistan.
Well, through this movie, through the keyhole of this movie, we can see that. We can see what's going on. We can see how Pakistan plays the game, and we can see the, what do you want to call it, the underside of the way things work. We don't get this in the plurality press. We don't see this in the legacy press in this country. And we don't see it in entertainment either in this country. So now maybe we will be better informed about what happens in Pakistan and other countries that foment unrest and violence and terrorism. Am I right?
This movie was an eye opener, Jay. It was an eye opener in so many different ways because it linked the attacks. You know, you had a mind full. If we are not actually students of politics, the layman would think that the IC 814 hijacking happened on one day, that Mumbai terror attacks happened on another day. Why they were linked? Why the parliament was attacked? This linkage is what is shown through this movie, and that is what is most important, Jay. Demonetization hit every household, every pocket in Indian economy, and you had so much backlash faced by the Modi government, but this information was withheld by the intelligence agencies. It was not given to the a government which would not take action. It was withheld up to the point that Modi came. Then he was shown that the counterfeit money is happening. There's a this funding, the Indian counterfeit racket is funding terrorism, drugs, weapons, and Modi took such a bold step in demonetization that it stunned the world. Suddenly you have to go to the bank and stand in line just for 2,000. If you have $1 million, you have to wait forever in line. So the ones who had $1 million, Jay, if it was not real good money, you lost it. It cleaned the Indian system in one shot.
We should understand and appreciate this, actually. So in India, I assume that people also get Netflix, or they're able to watch movies like this on the internet. But a lot of them, I've seen photographs of long lines of people waiting to get into theaters in India so they could see this particular movie. And my question to you is, how popular do you think it will be here on Netflix or in theaters here? And, who will be watching it? Will it be the conservatives, the liberals, the left, the right, the blue, the red? We know the country here in the U.S. is divided. What position do you think Trump will take about this movie? Will he be encouraging people to see it or discouraging people from seeing it?
Trump's favorite general is really thrashed in this movie. So I don't think he would like it. Asif Munir, as the head of the army, is would not be shown in a good light. But still, Jay, the hysteria that happens in Indian theaters is worth seeing. Earlier, used to have a good song, they would throw money on it. They really enjoy their movies, the Indian audience. And it's a venue for them to vent out their stress and everything. But this movie had maximum stress for 3.5 hours, and still the Indian audience has gone for it. So that means, there's an intelligent Indian audience which watches good movies, because there was no publicity for this movie as such. You did not have the actors coming around, or you did not have massive posters. It was just the star cast and a small trailer showing that these people are coming in a movie. And then word of mouth, because this is a 3.5 hour movie, 4.5 hours with your interval, your break, your national anthem. So people who had a 11:30 show would go home at 4 a.m. in the morning, Jay. So still people have thronged the theaters and paid good money for it. So they like it.
How about Europe? What kind of reception do you think it will have in Europe?
Oh, Jay, too much, because see, in Britain, the reviews that come out, they are not. They are usually taken from the Pakistanis also, and they are the ones who are enjoying this movie the most, and they are the ones who are playing the songs in their weddings. So they really related to this movie, because, as such, the setting is in Pakistan. Complete setting is in Pakistan. It is not a Indian movie, or it's just the backdrop that we understand. Our Indian spy goes into the Pakistan environment. So for the Pakistanis, it's like seeing their reality. So they loved it. It became the most downloaded movie of Pakistan for all time.
I've seen Indian movies. I've seen Bollywood movies. I always thought the production values, the lighting, the color, the camera shooting, all that was very, very good. But it struck me watching even a little of this one that it's even better. And in fact, it's better than most American movies that you see. It's really excellent in production values. Do you agree with that? And is that one of the reasons that people are so attracted to it?
Yeah, Jay. See, this movie is not come from one of the usual big production houses of India. It's come from a single man. And what makes this come out across on the screen, the reality, and like you said, the production value, the fineness in production value, the crispness in production value, is because this Mr. Aditya Dhar was a Kashmiri Pandit. He was staying in Jammu and Kashmir, and it was a displaced community which was the victim of Hindu genocide. People who were killed just for being Hindu in Kashmir. And this news, or this displacement, was kept under news wrap, which is very stunning to know. It was not known as popularly, and it was supported by the then central government, and it was supported by the then state government. So it was the people suffered. The Hindu Pandits, Kashmiri Pandits suffered, and this man was one of them. So he has had this first hand experience of what a genocide would be, or what a massacre would be, or what killing in the name of religion is. So you have scenes in the movie where he conveys through the eyes of Ranveer Singh the horror of seeing a terror attack. So you know exactly what the director wants to extract from the actor, because he himself has seen this. So he's not going to make a frivolous movie. He's going to try to put his own feelings into the movie, Jay.
Will you see it again when it goes on Netflix and on January 30th? And will you see the sequel? How many times do you plan to see the sequel?
Oh, Jay, then the full movie will go on for the full day. It's like because the backdrop is going to be, I think, I'm not sure about it, going to be his, the Sikh riots, or the 1947 partition, where there was a lot of bloodshed and it was never reported, because there was a lot of killing going on in the Sikh community when they were crossing onto Pakistan. So all these atrocities of Pakistan never made it to the news, or never made it to people. like I told you, the genocide, the Hindu Kashmiri genocide didn't happen in a dark age. It was in the 1990s, but nobody knew about it. You know, people are ignorant about it until you give it in their ears, give it on their eyes. And this movie has brought that. So the sequel that is coming is the backstory of Ranveer Singh. And all the actors have said that if you like Dhurandhar, it's just a trailer. Wait till you see part two.
So, Roopmati, is this likely to increase or decrease the terrorism from Pakistan to India? You know what? The movie covers a number of terror attacks, and each one shocking. And undoubtedly, without the movie, those attacks would continue. But will this movie increase or decrease those attacks? Will the light that is shining, the movie shines on these attacks, what effect will it have going forward?
Chip, Pakistan has lost its finance in when the demonetization happened. So they don't have the necessary funding to do those massive attacks which they did. Because in the movie, you see how they procure weapons from Baluchistan, use it to fund mercenaries who wear the Hindu wrist, they wear the religious kalava. They wanted to pass it off as saffron terrorism. If all were going on suicide missions, all would have been killed, all had passports of Indian names, of Indian, they have the tikka and the kalava. So they wanted to pass it off as saffron terrorism. But one of them was caught alive. And that is when he confessed to being a Pakistani. And that is what brought Pakistan terrorism, because they had bought from Baluchistan US made weapons. They didn't want weapons made in Pakistan. So they had taken care of all this. Now, why they could take care of all this? Because they had this kind of money which they were printing in their own store warehouses, in their storehouses. And Jay, it was up to the extent that stone pelters who used to throw stones at the army in Kashmir, they were given 500 rupees every day. This kind of money was the fake money that they had. They don't have that much money. Pakistan economy is number 38. They don't have that much of money to give these boys money to throw stones at army people. So this counterfeit money, when it stopped, they did not have the terror attacks have stopped. And secondly, is the kind of retaliation that the Indian government gives. When the 26/11 attacks happened in Mumbai, there was no retaliation by the Indian government. They spoke about talking peaceful dialogue, again, restoring friendship, all that. From the time that Modi has come in, he has said, if you strike, we will strike again. So when you have one attack, they go in for Uri, the surgical strikes that happened. When they did the Pahalgam, we had the Operation Sindoor. So now they are getting scared that the Indians do retaliate, because in the movie there's a reference to it that even after carrying the hotel attack in Mumbai, Taj, the Indian government is not doing anything. So let's come up with another plan to have another terror attack. They're not doing anything. So that was the Indian answer, political answer always before this government came in.
I'm not sure that everybody in India has known over the years about all these attacks. India is a very literate place. People read the newspaper, they watch the media, but I'm not sure that everybody has known about this. And I wonder if this movie raises awareness, raises consciousness about these attacks, and whether it will affect public opinion to say, yes, Modi, we want to see you respond to every such attack, whenever and wherever it happens. Is this movie likely to make the Indian viewing audience, the Indian population, more angry about what Pakistan has done or might do in the future?
It was liked by the Indian audience because, Jay, you kind of associated yourself with the government giving such a attack response to it. And this movie showed the linkage, because up to now, you would see the hijacking as an isolated incident. You could see the March 26/11 hotel attacks as an isolated incident. You never knew the linkage behind it. You never knew the underworld of Liari, a town in Pakistan supported by the government in Karachi, Islamabad, was and hands and gloves with the intelligence agencies, was the mischief maker behind these terror attacks. And any terror attack is a pause in a country's growth, development. So they just wanted to do this kind of speed breakers with India to disturb the Indian economy, to create terrorists, to create fear. Uh, and such a large populated area with, and the weapon that they talk about is their Muslim community in India would support them. So that used to happen, Jay. That used to happen a lot. If there was an India Pakistan match, you had people supporting Pakistan also in India. You had, but now they fear it because the Hindu community, which was pretty much quiet or subdued or being conditioned to be called secular, suddenly started taking pride to be unapologetically Hindu. And that is what is hurt the liberal, pseudo liberals, Jay. When you're unapologetically your religion and you defend your religion peacefully against a violent religion, it doesn't mean you're bad. It just means you are taking a stand, and that's what's come out, Jay.
How should Israel and the average Israeli feel about this movie? I don't know if it's popular in Israel or what kind of response it has had in Israel, but how do you think the Israeli people and government should respond to this movie?
Oh, Jay, Israel will love it because it's about getting into the thick and of the enemy and defeating them from within, which has been a strategy of Israel from the beginning because the numbers are few and they are more powerful at that time. And the suicide bombing issue that we face, even if we have spoken about it, even if we have layers of security, when a suicide bomber walks in without valuing his life and we are trying to defend and value life, it's a complete contrast of aims and objectives. And that's what makes defending against suicide bombers so much more difficult. And that's what Israel faces day to day in they're trying to lead a normal life, and the suicide missions or dying and going to heaven, this kind of jingoism is very hurtful, Jay.
Movies are education. And this movie demonstrates how a movie can be something that educates a good part of the world. And it seems like it's going there. It will be educating people everywhere about what has happened, what might happen, and what perhaps people didn't know about before. And you wonder about a sort of, call it a semi-documentary. You wonder about the production values, which are really good. You wonder about, the Indian ability to achieve a first-class movie and tackle a subject matter that would be of interest everywhere. You wonder if that changes the industry, whether it changes the industry in India, in Europe, and in the United States. Do you feel this movie is one of a number of movies that will come along to deal with these issues? Or is it just a one-time shot?
No, Jay, it is really a benchmark in movie making because you see so much reality, or you see so much uh, gruesomeness in action scenes. There is no fancy flying in the air and toppling. It is hardcore how they would murder. Suppose a man is being hit on the head with a brick. It's shown as a man being hit on the head with a brick. It's not shown that the brick would fly and come across and hit him, or there's not a stunt master who's directing it. It is just hard hitting reality. And Jay, this movie has got an A certificate. It's not universally shown. Still, it's garnered so much of support and money because people want to see this. Um you know what happened, and when you see movie making, it's not just fiction that has to be shown. It is also facts. And this movie has shown more facts than fiction.
Well, I'm hoping that there's in the U.S. There's a reaction, a treatment, or a series of reviews about the movie when it hits Netflix and goes into the theaters. So we hear more about it, and people think more about it. And I'm looking forward to that. As much as I'm looking forward to the movie, I really want to see how the reviewers treat it here, and how people treat it here as part of their education. In any event, Roopmati, we're almost out of time. Thanks so much to our co-host, Dr. Roopmati Khandekar. I'm Jay Fidell, host of Global Connections in this episode, which we are calling Review of the Blockbuster Indian movie Dhurandhar. We've learned a lot. Thanks to our viewers for watching. We'll see you again soon for the next one. Aloha.
Hello, Ajay. Thank you so much.